Hi, you're listening to the TL Podcast. My name is Thomas Hoang, and I am interviewing someone who seems ordinary, but who is achieving extraordinary things. That is the quest of this interview. This series is about people who may look like you and I, but who somehow have got a recipe for success, something that they do that is beyond the norm. And I like to find that out. Before we start, just want to let you know, I hardly know these people. They have been selected because they have achieved something in the industry. And I just wanted to put the stress on both themselves and me. For them, it's a podcast. They don't know the direction I'm going to go. They don't know who's going to listen to, and they don't know whether they are going to deliver it right. But for me, it's the same. I don't know about them. Therefore, I have to dig. I have to really find that recipe, because champions sometimes do amazing things, but they don't even know the recipe to their success. By exploring what it is that makes them and maybe their own little secret for success, we can share with the rest of you and help you reach success faster. Enjoy. A way for you to share with potential ladies who are working in real estate.
Okay.
And or ladies who are looking to get into real estate, or maybe ladies, women who are struggling in real estate and want to find that kind of magic.
Okay. Well, I'll see if I can sprinkle some.
I'm sure you do.
So, Thomas, your Wisebury, I think I had a TAFE student years ago that was Wisebury down the south coast somewhere. But yeah, it's a growing brand, isn't it?
Well, it's a brand. But as we do know, it's never just a brand. It's about the people.
No, it's about the people always.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always say, the whoever you see right in front of you, that is the business.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go in, I see real estate agents who walk in and they say, we at Abode, we do this, and we at Abode, we do that, or we at Wisebury, we do this. That's not selling. Selling is, let me tell you why you should be with me. And then the rest is incidental. It's a little bit like a surgeon. Once you've picked a surgeon, it doesn't matter if he used ABC scalpel or if he used XYZ scalpel to open up.
Sure.
So let's start, because in 2018, I know you started winning your award, but let's start from the beginning. Can you just share with us a little bit about you?
Well, I was actually selling an apartment of mine when I was in my early 20s, and I was offered a job by David Cripps at Cripps & Cripps Cronulla, which was just a family brand, but it was a very strong office. I actually came from an IT background. I was IT manager for Allied Couriers.
No.
But true story. So I had an IT background. I was on a very big salary. I had a BMW as my company car. and I think at the time I was earning like $35,000 a year. That's like a big salary back then. And then David Cripps said, look, you know everything about real estate. What? And I had 2 units before I was 21. I bought my first unit at 18 and my second unit at 19. And I actually did a dual occupancy when I was in my early 20s up in North Cronulla. But David Cripps said, your knowledge is just astounding. So how about you come with us and have a job in real estate? And I said, wow, I'd really love that. And then I just started doing my real estate license. But to be fair, my mentor is a guy called Alan Williams that is a very successful real estate agent in Parramatta. He's now in his 80s. So he was Alan Williams Real Estate. And Alan was my mum and dad's best man at their wedding. So Alan has really been the reason that I had a unit when I was 18 and another one, and that I looked to do a dual occupancy in my early 20s. So he's always been that, mentor guiding me on what to do with property. So I was very lucky to have him, and I've tried to be now that person to other people. I've tried to give them that sort of inspiration as well. Yeah, then after I was at Cripps & Cripps, I owned Cronulla Real Estate for, I went to the professionals at Cogra for a while and ran that office, which is now Bell Property. They had 4 offices at the time when I was the sales manager. So I was sort of poached from Cripps and Cripps to go over there. And then I was offered a partnership in Cronulla Real Estate. And then I had that for a few years. And I'm not sure that a partnership was necessary for me. My partner in that business was quite sick. And that was a big struggle on a large rent roll, which back then you could only have the rent roll debt over a 7-year period. So that was always a bit tough. And then I had Suzanne Hibberd Real Estate for a while. Then I started Abode, must be about 18 years ago now. So that's where I came from.
So when did you, so how old is Abode?
Abode is about 18 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're in Caringbah up to a year ago, and then we've moved to 2 offices in Cronulla.
Yeah. So you have one for leasing and one for sales.
No, our leasing, I actually sold my rent roll about 6-7 years ago.
Right.
I know this is odd, but I always say the best part of the rent roll is, no, it's like going to Melbourne. The best part is leaving. No, seeing it in the revision mirror. Seeing it in the revision mirror, that's what I meant. No, I'm just not really a rent roll person, really. So I did sell it to one of my team that had been with me for about 15 years. And that Ursula Delaney, she now has Abode Leasing, which is a separate company.
Oh, I see.
We do a lot together, but she's the director of that business. So that business is actually in Miranda, and just the Cronulla is purely sales. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look a little bit deeper now into this rent roll. Why would you sell it if you had it? What there was too much of too many.
Well, very small rent roll we'd accumulated. It would only bring in 5% of my figures, right? So I know it's pretty risky for people to say, "Wow, Suzanne has a sales office and she has no rental income to rely on." But I've never thought of it that way. I'm like, yeah, that's a pain in the neck. It brings in 5% of the return. See ya, off you go to someone else. And then I can focus, because the projects and the sale of development sites that I'm heavily involved with, it takes a lot of time, as well as my residential sales. So I just want to concentrate on the things I love, and I'm just not really a rent roll person.
Okay.
Although it's a great for a lot of principals to accumulate rent rolls, and the Bell Property Office, they've got a huge rent roll over at Cogra, and that I think I think everyone has to understand there's different principals like doing things differently.
Okay. All right. That's an aside. Okay. Now let's go back to you. So you started around what, 21?
Yeah, early 20s, maybe 22, somewhere there. 23, maybe, somewhere there.
What would you advise now young people who are starting in real estate? Because surely it wasn't like just 20 or 30 years ago.
Well, okay, apart from the technology and the competition, the amount of competition, everything is still the same. I think young people, I tell my team in the other office here, I walk in and say, do not text that owner, get on the phone and call him. The young people, technology's got its place, but selling real estate is about relationships. So the market's a little bit tough at the moment. Are you finding that in your area?
In the last 2 months, it's done, hasn't it?
Well, we had the best January we've had for 10 years. We've had the worst April we've had for 10 years. January, February and March were very, very good. But the market is really tough here. We've got opportunistic offers coming in well below our expectations. I feel February started a bit of a slide, especially our properties at a 2.5 to 5 million. If you look back and think, wow, February's just starting to come down from there. So I don't think, okay, we used to have the card system originally. Clients would come in, you had a little card, this person's looking for a townhouse, these ones are filed in, these ones looking for units, these ones looking for houses. Okay, technology has helped us, but you can't rely on that technology only to do your job. So you can't just text feedback or text where you're recommending a change to the back end on realestate.com. Or there is no substitute. Even a phone call, yes, but I love getting in front of my owners. They can look you in the eye and I can say, guys, now we've been having a few hard conversations in the last week. Listen, Fred and Nancy, the market is very tough. We are not going to get 5 million for your property. the offers are coming in well below that. I think we've got to make some hard calls here, Fred and Nancy. You're either going to rent it out for a year if you bought that other property, great. You're either going to take it off the market, and hopefully you can see that we've given you the honest advice. You know, we know other agents are chasing you. Other agents, we can do this, we can do that, promise this, promise that. Seriously, what can these other agents do that we're not already doing?
Yep.
Right, so have the hard conversations with them, because then they will come back to you. But I've had to have we've got about, how many listings would we have in the office? About 80 listings in this small little office, right? 80 listings at the moment. That's where I count a project as one property.
Very
we
good.
have 80 listings. That's a lot of listings, yeah.
And you look after 12 for the moment.
Oh, no, personally, I would have 40 listings at the moment.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's only showing 12 on the website. That's why I did a bit of the count first. So
no. I'll be close to 40 listings. Some of them are off market, some are database only, but I'll be running about 40 listings at the moment.
Wow.
But having hard conversations with some of these owners, you know, there's nothing better than getting in front of someone and looking them in the eye. They trust you. They know that you're prepared to go and see them or get them to come to the office. I'll say, look, you know, what sort of coffee do you want? Come and see me. We'll have the coffee ready for you. People want to feel nurtured. We are in a service industry. And you know, that's how you look after their property, down to how you're marketing the property, but how you look after it when you're there. You know, it's just all that care factor that comes back to service.
Yeah, is it care, or is it also fear? You know, like the text messages, the quick email. It's quite often it's just about sending a message, and I don't want to know, and I don't want to face you, and I don't want to face the reality. But
yeah, I think you know, I just had a conversation with some owners. I've got an offer at 4.5 million. They're hoping for at least 5 million. I literally just got to the phone to them and they said, well, Suzanne, we're disappointed, but not in you. But we're disappointed with the level of the offer. I said, so am I. You know, agree with them, because we are disappointed. But guys, have I ever asked you to take an offer that I've brought to you yet? And they said, no, you haven't. I said, I'm going to ask you to take this offer. And you just wait for the answer. Just wait. And they said, oh, what are your thoughts there, Suzanne? I don't think the market's going to get better. Everyone thinks, oh, spring, we'll do it in spring again. Spring's going to be great. No one can see, I can't see that spring's necessarily going to be better. My gut feel at the moment is we're in for a hard 12 months. That's what I'm seeing. There's too much report in the media about housing unaffordability, and interest rates might go up, then they might go down, whatever. Who knows about what's going to happen with interest rates? But then now we've got unemployment starting to creep up again. Inflation's still a little bit higher than what they want. We already had this unprecedented growth before COVID. Then we had COVID. Then we had more unprecedented growth. How can it keep going? People in my area, oh, that waterfront's worth 15 million. This one's 25. They drop these numbers like it's 3 million. That's a lot of money. 25 here, 19 there. Mate, that's Mossman prices. So when you do ask an owner, face them and say, I'm going to ask you to take this offer. Now, it is your decision, but I don't think I can bring in anything better. We can rent it out, but you'll be leasing the property out for 3 years because you've already bought somewhere else. They said, oh, what do you mean 3 years? Well, there's 39 units about to get built around yours. You're not going to be selling during construction. It's not going to give us a better result, right? You're going to be renting it out for 3 years, or we're going to sell it now. And it is disappointing, but it is what it is. 2 other agents have sold apartments in the same building for 600,000 less. So I still think that the result we're getting is okay in the current market. Yeah. But it's a big decision. You guys think about it. I'm not putting you on the spot now. Come back to me after lunch. You know, yeah. You got to face your fears. You've got to face having the hard conversations. So, you know, sometimes you think you get those clients, oh, not that one again. You know what I mean? Like 5% of your clients take up 95% of your time. And sometimes you've got to cut those clients, just cut them and run. You know, I'm sorry, we've done everything we can for you. You keep threatening to give it to another agent. You know when these people are just not that pleasant to deal with, right? Thomas, you know this. Yeah. You get them and they're like, oh, Suzanne, it seems to be all talk. We don't know if you can really produce a result. I mean, does anyone want to be spoken to like that? We know this is at our family's detriment, the work we do. It is. The time that comes away from you know, this work-life balance. It's rubbish. There's no work-life balance. This is crap. You know, I've got to talk at Eric on the Gold Coast on the weekend, and one of the questions Tom Panos is going to ask me about the work-life balance. There's no work-life balance. Your family's going to suffer because you're working for your clients 7 days a week. And you know, you do have to learn, like on a Sunday, there's a couple of calls come in. I try to, you know, spend some time recharging, you've got to have a partner that's fantastic support. You have to. You do. I have a very.
So you do have a system for work-life balance. Your partner has it taken out. I get it.
I do, but look, is it you know, like, I mean, does my husband want to do more travel and things? Of course he does. Does he suffer because of how much I work? I'm not going to say no. Of course he does.
No, because wherever he goes first class. So I'm sure he's not suffering in that respect.
Well, Thomas, if he wants new golf clubs, he knows he can go and get them, right? If it's a new car or whatever else. No, look, you have to have tremendous support. You do. But there's no way to say it. You can't have it all. I don't believe you can have it all. I think that is just not correct. If you want to be a female at the top of your game, there's going to be some sacrifices. And it is taking the good moments when you can, having a great team. Look, I have a holiday house down the South Coast, so I try to zip down there Saturday after work, and maybe Monday, Tuesday I work from the phone. Okay, my husband might be out on the kayak and I've got the phone glued to my ear all Monday and Tuesday. But I also can't let my clients down, because I can't relax if I can't just go out in the kayak all day when people are counting on me to make phone calls. So if you're going to take it on, it's go hard or go home, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you have to be prepared to commit an enormous amount of time to this job, or you are not going to be, well, you're going to be successful, but if you want to be really successful, it's going to come at some sacrifice.
Yeah. But in this day and age, I can see, listen, I like your style, right? Yeah. Honest. Sometimes some people may say brutal. I think you have a natural smile, but you also have that demeanor that is, I'm here to do my job. You employed me for this. If you don't like me, then go, right? So I get that. But do you find it, so how do you counter this generation now of people who are about, you know, I just want balance. When it's 5 o'clock, I just want to go away. Seriously, you may not have them working for you, but there's a bigger and bigger pool. So how do you do that? Because you starting some 30 years ago, that was exactly what you described now. Okay, so you haven't changed a bit. You're probably now even more ingrained in that, because you love what you're doing and it has worked for you. But now we're dealing with this generation. So do you make any kind of compromise with that?
For younger people in my team?
No, for people who are about balanced life.
Well, look, you know, I mean, I think my two main assistants, executive assistants, you know, if someone wants to go get their hair done, or they need to leave early, or they've got to fly to Melbourne to help their sister move, you know, my girls have been with me for, sorry, they'll have to answer. How long have you been with me, George? 9 years. I would say, I think Georgie's been with me 5. I don't even get those things right. Georgie's been with me 9 years. Holly's been with me 10 years, right? And then Ursula, I sold the rent roll to, has been with me pretty much ever since we started. So, no, I think to keep your team, a lot of my team have been with me for a long time. There's a couple of new ones, and they look at me and think, mate, she's a freak. Like, look at them, how hard she works. If we want to be successful, that's what we have to be like, I suppose. Some of them are like that. You do have to cater for people's different personalities. You know, not everyone's the same as me. I appreciate that. I don't have a lot of patience, I suppose. My son's with me in the business. He's been with me for about 4 years. And, mate, I'm seeing him sell things, and I think, I don't think I could have even got that price that he just got. How did he do that? And then he negotiates a property Thursday, and he's got it unconditionally exchanged Friday afternoon. I'm like, where did this person come from? But you know what? He's been listening to me in the back of the car since he was 2, and he says that to me. All he knows is how to do deals on the phone. Whenever he used to go anywhere with me, the whole time I'm on the phone the whole time, right? He's in the back of the car. So he's learned, he's picked up all that, and he's, you know, he's very, you know, he's got his little niche. His niche market is selling units probably 800 to 1.5, and he's just honed in on that little niche market. I think you do get young people that take this, and I was talking to two of my team the other day. Boys, you got this shotgun approach. You can't just fire off a rifle and expect all the bullets to land where you want them to land. You have to have an approach that's going to work. Become an expert in something. So if you learn planning instruments, you know, be the person that knows where they're going to rezone and understand the zones, understand floor space ratio, minimum landscaping, height limits. Become an expert. I did that when I started in real estate. I could tell you every address on Cronulla Esplanade, even though it's got another address, because they've got streets running behind those properties on the Esplanade. But I would know 35 the Esplanade is at the end of Roker Street. I know that today. So I would know every property. My area was North Cronulla. I would walk those areas. I knew every property, pretty much who owned them. I would door knock. I don't door knock now. People say, how do you canvass? I'm like, I don't do too much canvassing of myself because I have obviously built up enough clientele and database over the years, and people just ring me, Suzanne, we've been here 10 years, we're ready to sell. Can you come and see us on Tuesday? That has taken a lot of years to get to that. You can't expect that as a young person, right? But the young people like, oh, we'll go door knock these $15 million waterfronts. Oh, we'll go and door knock this unit down here. Let's go to Miranda. No, you have to have a planned approach. So be an expert. It doesn't matter if you're the expert at the 800 to $1.5 million units. Go after those. Become the expert. Have everybody know, oh, Braith Wilson, he's the expert in those units. Or, Suzanne is the specialist in project marketing. So new apartments in the St. George and Sutherland Shire. Now, interesting, we're in the Sutherland Shire, but we dominate project marketing in an adjoining area, the St. George area, which is very unusual, right? But, we become the experts in project marketing because we sell development sites. You can't just get a block of 28 units to sell. You generally are involved in amalgamating that site, selling it to a developer, but acting for all the owners. There might be 18 owners in a block of units and you've amalgamated all of those. You've got to act in their best interest, not work out who you're going to sell it to. It's got to be based on looking after the owners you are currently working with. I think too many agents think, oh, well, we'll make sure it goes to this bloke because that'll happen down the track. No, mistake. You must work for your current vendor at all times. We see this, don't we? There's two buyers on a property and the agent will make sure this buyer gets it because they're going to give them a listing. Do you know what? I got a listing a couple of years ago because they were a buyer on a property and I said, well, I'm sorry, guys, I've got the other buyer to a better number. Because they said, oh, but we'll give you our house to sell. Well, that's nice, but my job's to work for this owner, not worry about your house down the track. They came back to me and said, we always remember that you worked for the owner and we now want you to sell our house. So I end up getting the house to sell anyway. But become an expert at something.
Yeah.
But you can't rely on technology. There's no replacement for meeting people at their home, getting people into the office, talking to them on the phone, or sometimes, oh, I couldn't get you, so I just thought I'd text. I would rarely do that unless it was urgent.
Yeah.
No, get the person back. Is there a better time I can call you? What time would suit? If the person's very busy. You can't just, oh, you're busy, I'll just text you. That's a poor excuse for doing your job, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But you have the energy, and when you talk, I think, even I listen now, So
pepped you up there.
So
yeah.
let me ask you another question here. You handle 40 listings right now. How do you do that? I understand you have the energy. I understand that you try and talk to a lot of people, but then some of these people go, well, the reason I text is that it saves me time because I can look after my listings. But how do you look after 40?
You have to have a very good support team. So my two girls work tirelessly. They are very, very hard workers. My owners have got to get updates all the time. We do very detailed reporting.
Yes.
I will talk to my owners after every appointment. If I go and show a villa, I will ring my owner as I'm leaving. Do I talk to all 40 every week? Look, some will say, look, Suzanne, next week's fine, da, 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 da. Like some don't need that every week. Generally, they will get a report every week. And generally, if I do appointments at their place, they will certainly know that I've been there and what the feedback was. And then ones that aren't getting inquiry, we have a little bit of a hot list that I really need to call these ones today. I try not to take appointments before 11, buyer appointments, 11, sometimes 12, because I want my morning dedicated to, and sometimes phone calls from 7:30 in the morning, right? No, true. I'm on my emails. The girl's like, bloody Suzanne, she's emailing us at 4 o'clock this morning. If something's not selling, I do have a trouble. I don't sleep. I'm worried about why the property's not sold. I have watched, if you ask me anything on Stan or Netflix or Binge, there'd be rarely anything I haven't seen. And I will watch those shows where I think about trying to think outside the square and how I can bring eyes on the property, whether it be reach out to a heap of buyers agents. The owners want to know that you're doing something, not just sitting back and hoping. Not hope. There's no hope. Don't sit back and wait. You've got to find the buyers. Go look for them. Don't sit, hope realestate.com and domain's going to yield you inquiry. In a hard market, that ain't going to work. I've worked through the GFC. You need to be able to look for buyers, look outside the square, whether it be, okay, this is where we will use text messages, new guide, don't say dropped, price reduced, no, they're bad words. New guide, view Saturday, see view Saturday, but it's actually not open Saturday. If you want to view it, you'll have to ring us because then we want to talk to you. View Saturday, this is good. So come up with new ideas. The owners want to know, Suzanne, you've got this. We know the market's hard, but we know you're doing your best. That's all they want. Yeah. How do I look after the 40 listings? Well, I work very long hours. I do. And, I suppose it's just, if I'm in the car, I've got a call list. Georgie, my main assistant, she will keep me. You need to call these people. Have you rung them? Mate, she's like Hitler. She's on me. I'm like, bloody hell. Who am I working with? It's like I work for them. It's very difficult sometimes. But no, they do a great job. It is that they sometimes are the boss. You need to do this. You need to be here. You need to go there. I need to be run like that.
Organized.
Right? And I've got to know the ones, that property's getting no one. What are we going to do? And it is sometimes we will say, what are we going to do? We don't always have the answers. Be honest and say, the market is tough. April, you had Easter outside the school holidays. Then you had the school holidays. Between Easter and the school holidays, I was down my house down the coast. All the holiday accommodation was booked. So you know that people went away between Easter and the school holidays, right?
Yeah.
You want these statistics so you can tell your owners. I was down at my holiday house on the Sunday, the Monday. It was packed down there. Christmas was bad weather. The price of going away at Christmas was high. We think some people took holidays in the school holidays outside Easter because of the affordability factor. And the weather was beautiful. Educate your owners so they go, well, and so we're noticing May to be a bit better. April was disastrous. Did you have a hard April?
Yes, it was tough.
Yeah, April was hard.
April and May is not good either.
It's not firing. I think the market is much harder than the media are reporting. It'd be interesting to talk to people at AREC on the weekend, but the media, market's great, clearance rates of this, that. Where? Not here. It's really tough here. But there's always buyers around. We have to remain positive. There's always people that need to sell homes and buy homes, and you can't be like, in the depths of despair. I can't sell anything. It's, it's May and April, and you can't get in that trap.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that in this market, and you spoke about the GFC, I don't think that this new generation of salespeople have ever seen this kind of market. They're going to learn about it now. We move people. We're not selling. We're not here to try and beat record. We have home sellers who have trusted us to help them get on with the next stage of their life.
That's right.
And I think that's our job. And in order to help them get on with their life, we need to really converse with them a bit more.
Yeah.
I think that these days of just giving them feedback and run, you're going to have to sit down and go through the pain with them and do what you do. Because, you know, if you were my sellers, I'm going, she's passionate. She really believes in what she's saying. Yeah, they may be telling me that my price is only $500,000. Maybe it's brutal at first, but in the end, to remove cancer, you have to cut into someone. It's painful, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
but you have that truthfulness.
The hard conversations have to take place, and the more you get in front of them, the more they're going to trust you when you do bring them an offer that's less than what they want.
Yeah.
Because they're going to they look, you know, I always say, look, I've got an offer on something at the moment that's between 12 and 14 million. It's a development site. So last Thursday, I brought the family in that own the property. It's the D8 approved site. And I brought the buyer in so they can meet the buyer. So, oh no, this person's not meeting my buyer. I never understand that mentality. Listen, I want you to meet my buyer so you can see he's legitimate. You can ask him any questions that you got regarding the terms and conditions. That, to me, putting them in front of each other, but the more you sit in front of your owners, the more they're going to trust you. And really, to bring that development site to the market, I would have had 4 meetings in the family home over a period of a few months where they didn't know if they were going to build it or they're going to sell it, build it, sell it, build it, sell it. And, you know, they're looking at you to see if you're giving them honest advice. Really, people often have a meeting with you to sum you up, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not because they necessarily want to talk about something. They're summing you up. It's all about that. And when someone trusts you, it's always much easier to say, I've never asked you to take an offer to date, have I? Every time I've given the offer, when I give someone a lower offer, I say, listen, guys, we've got an offer at 2.3. You don't need to answer. I know we're looking for more, right? I have to give you every offer by law. Okay. I know we're trying to get up around the 2.6. I've given you that offer. I'm going to work with the buyer more, blah, blah, blah. I don't even, then they'll say, oh, how's your day going? Da, da, da. I don't need them to say, Suzanne, we're not taking that offer. I'm not going to be so ignorant. I already know that they're not going to take the offer. It's ignorant to sit there and go, oh, what do you think about that? That's just that's silly.
That's stupid.
So you want them to feel Suzanne's got this. She knows we're not taking that offer. She's given it to us. She's going to go and work with that buyer. But if you get the buyer up with the right money, you're going to say, guys, I'm now asking you to take it. This is a hard conversation, but these are your choices. They are all your choices. I'm just here to give you the best advice. Now, I had an owner last week. I've got an offer on their property for 3.8 million. We were looking for in the 4s, and really to start with, high 4s. And then we adjusted the guide to 4.5. Then we adjusted the guide to 4.2. Then we put a selling range on it, 4 to 4.2. Because you'd have people in your area that have guiding 3.8 when they want 4.5. You know, you'd have put that too.
Yep.
Clearly, that's against the law, but we still see it going on. So sometimes we put the guide on, we take the guide off, we put a selling range on, we take the selling range off. Selling range, right? Because the guides sometimes tell the buyers, some buyers add 10%, don't they?
Absolutely.
You're in the St. George area of a Sasha
20?
Tassic.
Is it 20?
Sasha Tassic of the St. George says, Bella, you in the St. George area, you want 2 million, you're off, you guide 1.5. You know, so you because of the demographic of clients that you're dealing with. So you do have to be. We are very proactive on how we present the price point, if any, on the listing, right? So we rotate photos regularly. We might say guide, but then we go, these guides aren't working. At the sales meeting every Wednesday, we say the guides are not working because this big agent up here is guiding 2.8 when they want 3.3. So everyone thinks our guide at 2.9 when our owners want 2.9. They think our owner wants 3.3. So then we go, rip the guides off, guys. Let's put a selling range on. The vendor will sell in the range. This is the range. Then we think, no, they're not working either. Then we pull it off. Offers invited. We often start just listed, now selling. When we first list a property, no price guide, just listed, now selling. Oh, how much are you looking for? Then we want a conversation with the people. But I've got an offer of 3.8 last Thursday on a property, and we all wanted more. But February, we've seen these properties slide. I can't change that. The vendors go, but you told us this price, right? Yes, but, you know, we've just seen this other property sell for 3.8, but it's worth 4.2. We have other agents underselling properties because of their big overheads. We see that in this area. It's very hard for me to hold up your price when buyers are smashing me with 3 other comparable sales that are very low sales. We're seeing that. It's not always the agent's fault, because that agent, okay, the agent may be smashing the owner to take a low offer, but we also don't know the situation of the vendors, right? The vendors may need to really sell. We can't just blame the agent for underselling the property. It's not always the case. But my owners said Thursday night to me, it was about 7 o'clock, tell the buyers with 3.8, we're taking it off the market and we're not interested in their offer. I'm not, follow your vendor's instructions. No, we're not doing that, because that would be suicide. Those buyers are going to walk away, right? So I just said, look, guys, the owners are going to take the sign. The owners want the sign down, and they're just looking at their options at the moment. But just really at the moment, the 3.8 is just not enough to buy it. If you get up around that 4 mark, I think we'd be able to have a serious conversation. I'm not going to go and tell them it's taken off the market. And it's a good thing that I didn't, because the wife called me 2 hours ago and said, what's happening with the buyers at 3.8? I said, well, thankfully I didn't go and tell them it's off the market. But you do have to be able to stand up to your owners when you know that they're making the wrong decision. I do find young agents, or not even young agents, you do have to be pretty strong personality to control your owners, yeah?
Yes.
Now I'm very direct, but I'm also very transparent, and I don't also apply pressure to people. It's funny. I don't say, oh, do it today because someone else is going to buy it. That's not my style. I would say, you know what? It's a lot of money. It's a big decision. Think about it overnight. Come back to me tomorrow. So, and they go, oh, that's really great. I said, look, if any other offers get tabled, we will let you know. We don't tell anyone else. We don't tell buyers one person's offer here. Some areas are very different to that. But you've got to protect the owner from making decisions that are poor because they're not experienced. You're the one leading the ship. And I would say to them, listen, you gave me this job because I'm the experienced one, right? Remind them that they gave you the job. So please, you need to listen to what I'm saying. The ones that want to steer the ship, no. There's only one ship and I'm the bloody captain. You give me the job, that's it. Now, if you're selling a development site, I say to developers, listen, when you take me on to sell your project, which might take me a couple of years to sell out or 18 months or something, a big project, a high-end project, they don't fly out the door quickly. I've got project behind me. They start at 6.2 million, these units, right? They're not going to fly out the door. You've got to find the right buyers. But I say to the developer, you better go home and tell your wife that you've married Suzanne as well. You've got a second wife, because you can't afford to change agents midstream on a project. It's a very bad look. But we are in this for a long haul. But there can only be one captain, and I like driving the ship. As soon as the owner tries to micromanage me, that's...
What do you do? Do you take them around the corner? What do you do?
We do. We put them in a strength of holding. No, we just say, listen, remember I told you, you've got to set it up to sell, right? So when you list the property, now guys, you're hiring me because I'm the experienced one, and you need to listen to me. There will come a time where you'll want to maybe question what I'm saying. Please don't do that. We can discuss it at all times. We can discuss it, but it's always going to be my way. No, I don't say that. No. We can discuss things, of course, but owners that think they're going to steer the ship, no, it's going to be the Titanic. We're going to have a problem. Actually, I think that came from Sasha Tasic in the St. George area. I'm the captain of the ship while you're the captain. It's going to be the Titanic. So Sasha's got some funny sayings like that. So no, there has to be one captain, and we've all got to be going in the one direction, right? And you can't let an owner make a decision. They might say to you, go and tell them it's off the market. You can't go and do that. It's off the market. The buyer's going to walk away. Of course they will. So it's stopping the owners make decisions that are going to be harmful to themselves as well. Once again, it comes with strength in controlling the situation, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think that now I got it. I think that's your recipe for success. Passionate, blend with inner strength. That's amazing. So I wish I had more time, but I'm going to ask you just 2 more questions, all right? One, do you think that salespeople are born or are made?
I think it's a combination.
That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out.
No, I think it's a combination. I do think, you do have to have it. Look, you're born with a personality that's going to be sales orientated or not. But I think even if you're born with that personality, you still have to be made into a great salesperson. It doesn't necessarily, just because you're born with the ability to sell, it doesn't mean you're going to be great without nurturing and guidance. So I think it's a combination of both. But yes, some people do not have the personality for sales. This is a tough job. It sometimes, it sometimes gets to me and I think, oh my gosh, why is all this happening at once? And you just think, my mentor says to me, you have to roll with the punches. Yeah. And making money is about minimizing your tax, and don't buy something till they're bleeding in the gutter. No, they're the three things. No, but you do have to be able to take the punches. Sometimes, you're in for 12 rounds each day. Yeah. You've got other agents chasing your listings. It's tough, but you've got to remain positive, even when negative things are happening. You've got to turn anything negative into a positive. But you know what? Don't be afraid to say no or let go of a client that's absolutely not the client that you should have. Sometimes you get red flags when you're trying to sign people up. We've had one recently. They want to make 900 changes to the agency agreement. And then after the fixed term, if it sells 3 days later to our client, we don't get paid. Would you agree to that? No. They want the clause removed.
No.
No, we're not going to agree to. We're not the effective clause a week later. If we were the effective clause during the fixed term period, so maybe they're red flags. Maybe those people need to go to a different agent in the first place. Yeah. So you've got to recognise that and say, well, you know what? I don't think we'll take that client on. I think not all business is good. Not all business is good business.
Very
you need
good.
to be careful.
Very good. Very good. Oh God, I love this. I think that Eric is into something good coming up, huh? When they see, no, do exactly the potion that the market needs right now, because the nice agent, the looking good, the one that please people, the one that doesn't
I don't look good.
doesn't want to deliver the bad news because they're scared of losing the listing, they're not in the right market right now. So here's my last question. One of these days we get to meet. But here's my last question. How do you know you're leading a good life, Suzanne?
Well, I think if you're happy in what you do, you can buy the things that you want, and that is on different scales, isn't it? I mean, some people might be happy with that, and other people want this. If you can buy what you want, if you're surrounded by people that make you laugh, if you get up and love what you do each day, and you have a family around you that care, I think you're living a good life.
Yep. And if you have someone like you as a captain when you're selling a house, I think that your boat is safe. I thank you so much for today. Good luck with Eric. I know you're going to do well, okay?
Thank you so much.
We will meet, Suzanne.
All right. Good luck with all your
passion.
ladies.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.